You know, Gordon, it's not always obvious at the time that some of the violence that we see in America originates from radical groups who are prodded on by communist China, our number one adversary. And I feel like there's been this, you know, this string of just Maoism raging through this economy. And, you know, it does originate there. What about these people like this individual she's talking about?
Well, Neville Roy Singham, he's an American citizen, but he is in Shanghai. He's protected by the Chinese regime. And it's not just people like Singham, it's the regime itself. Now, we've got a way to deal with this. We could freeze his assets, as Secretary Bessent has talked about, but more important, we need to go after the Chinese banks that are handling this money, which is used to fund violent acts on American soil. But we know that these Chinese banks do more. They have taken over money laundering for the fentanyl gangs. They've actually taken over money laundering around the world, according to federal prosecutors, because these Chinese gangs use Chinese banking apps. And that means the Chinese regime knows what's happening, because no one could do anything through a Chinese bank without the knowledge and approval of the Communist Party from the top. But these Chinese banks, they also handle money for Iran and North Korea, and we can designate them pursuant to Section 311 of the USA Patriot Act to be a primary money laundering concern. That would mean that no U.S. bank could maintain a correspondent relationship with them, which means that they'd be out of the business of handling dollars. We have basically given the Chinese banks de facto immunity from U.S. laws, and so they've taken the advantage to the hilt. We need to stop this immediately. By the way, President Trump in June 2017 did use a Section 311 designation against a small Chinese bank. We need to go after the bigger banks.